Real Life with Susan Harf. Hi everyone, I'm Rose Martin, and thank you for joining us for tools and strategies from our very favorite life coach on how to navigate those bumps along the way and to get our very best life. Like you, I can't wait to hear what she's thinking about today.
Hi, Rose.
Hi, Susan.
Happy to be with you, and I'm so glad that you joined us as well. So today I'm thinking about resolutions, New Year's resolutions, and people say to me a lot, I'm making a list and I'm checking it twice. And I say, good for you. Let me know how that turns out. And others say to me, well, I just have one major thing I need to change, I need to work on. And here's what I think about resolutions.
I'm waiting for this. I'm waiting
Dun,
for this.
dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun. Here's what I think about resolutions. I think if it works for you, I'm not going to tell you not to do it. But what I'm going to say is that my clients, who I consider to be very level-headed, wonderful people, make resolutions all the time and they don't stick to them. And the reason for that is that we make them too ominous. We say, okay, it's the holidays, so I'm going to eat as much pie as I want. I'm going to eat as much of everything as I want because come January 1st, it's over.
Right.
Well, what's over? You're not eating anymore? No, you're going to eat some more. You have to eat, you have to live. So instead of like getting it all in now, or hurry up and eat it fast now, or do whatever it is you don't want to do anymore, and then not do it at all later, let's have a more realistic approach.
I'm all about that.
So I'm not here to say that if you want to lose weight, you shouldn't lose weight. But instead of saying, I am losing, it's January, and by February, I'm going to have 30 pounds off.
Okay.
You know what? That is unrealistic. Or I am sick of the way this house looks. I am going to burn everything and start over. Not a great idea. Sometimes we just think in terms that are self-defeating instead of enhancing.
What does that mean?
Well, a self-defeating priority might be, I need to lose weight, and so I am only going to eat salad every day for the next month, and I will not accept any invitations to go to anyone's home for dinner because they won't make me a salad. They're going to make me eat their food, and I'm not going to do any of the normal things that I do at the office. I like to have a coffee break, and I'm never going to eat another piece of coffee cake as long as I live. Those are self-defeating messages that we give ourselves.
Couldn't it be self-defeating too to say, I'm going to buy myself the piece of exercise equipment for Christmas, and I'm going to do it every day for 3 hours?
Absolutely
the same thing.
Wrong.
Okay.
Yes, because you work yourself into a no. Whenever it's absolute and extreme, it's not going to last. It never lasts that way. Instead, if we take things in increments, so if we say, I want to eat healthily, it's okay to be on a program. I am all for, if you need an outside structure to help you stay with the goals that you are setting for yourself, that's absolutely fine. But if you make it extreme, if you make the goal extreme, if you make the resolution extreme, it's going to be over in 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. So I want to eat more healthily. I want to have a life that is not as frenetic. Let's take that one. That doesn't mean that you're going to quit everything you do. It just means you need to reevaluate how you do them. So for instance, if I say, I want to be my child's room mother at the school. Okay. That does not mean that your New Year's resolution is, and as such, I need to quit every board that I'm on, and I also need to say I'm never going to ask any parents to help me do some of the projects in the classroom. You may not be on 5 boards, but you may still be on 1. And you may say, I'm the child's room mother, but I'm going to enlist the parents to help celebrate holidays or whatever it is that I'm doing in the classroom as the room mother. So it's been years since I was the room mother. So I don't know what the room mother does right now. But whatever it is, you deserve to have help doing it.
Yeah.
So the fact is that we can make resolutions, but let's not be extreme about them. And you know what? When you take goals in increments, you know, we've all heard people say Rome was not built in a day. A house doesn't get built in in 5 minutes. You have to think about our goals as lifelong journeys and not something that is my New Year's resolution that's got to be over in 1 month. Because if you make it a resolution that's really over the top, that you can't achieve, that's impossible to achieve, you're almost saying to yourself, I want to give it up. You know,
Yeah.
you set yourself up for failure that way.
I'm going to write this down and say it, but it's really not going to happen.
Exactly.
So do you recommend then maybe instead of writing resolutions, thinking about a reflection journal of the things in your life that you may want to address instead?
I think a reflection journal is fine for those who want to do that, but I also don't discourage people from having goals. So for instance, I'm working with somebody right now who wants a new job. And we have set our goal as in 1 year, she is going to have a different job. And between now and then, she's going to make a lot of incremental changes along the way toward that ultimate goal. So she will achieve it because as her coach, I'm going to make certain that she does something actually every day to work toward the goal. Some days, what she does is research who she needs to call to discuss a particular step toward the goal. So some of the things that we do to achieve our goals are small incremental steps. If you work at them daily, then, or some weekly, it doesn't, you know, depends on what the goal is, you're more apt to, by focusing on the small things, you're more apt to climb the mountain.
What about self-accountability as opposed to having you know, outside accountability, whether it's a program, it's a coach, it's, you know, your neighbor, your husband?
I think everybody knows themselves better than anyone else. And I think you know if you can succeed on your own. There are things I've achieved that I succeeded by setting my own course, and I did not need somebody to coach me along the way in a professional sense. And I've done other things where I needed an outside structure to help me set the goals and help me achieve them. And even if you are not working with an outside structure, I think you have to enlist the help of others to help you get there. So for instance, if I'm trying to lose weight and I go to the dinner party and they're serving a dessert that I don't want to eat, I may say, can you give me 1 bite? That's what I want, 1 bite. Or I'm not going to have dessert today. And enlisting the help of the hostess or the host to say, help me do this. Help me by not forcing me to have the piece of cake if I don't want it.
So even like if you want to do that or take it a step further and you feel like I need a structured program, weight loss program, so I'm going to subscribe to X number of programs.
That's right.
In order to get that accountability for that.
Yeah,
Either way is okay.
That's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I definitely advise people if they believe that they need that structure. It's obvious I believe in coaching, so I think a coach can do that for you also, help you along the way to get that accountability, because I'm asking my client, did you make that phone call today? And if you didn't, let's talk about why. And let's role play it first. Maybe you're afraid to. That's perfectly okay. We can role play it so that maybe that phone call is easier to make when you do it. So I'm there to ask the questions, why didn't you do it, in a way that people can hear it. So, and with no judgment. So my point is that we can achieve great things. We can achieve lots of change. I have coached people through making magnificent choices, different choices in their lives to change things. And people can do that for themselves as well. But the point is that we need to take things in slower, smaller increments in order to reach the mountain. We're not going to climb the mountain all at once.
What about someone who says, you know what, it's a new year, but I don't necessarily need a brand new me?
And that's something that I'm glad you brought up, because that also, for some people, is the right way to go. And that's when sometimes having a journal can help you sort of figure out how you feel about things. Maybe you just want to change an attitude. Maybe you want to change how you feel about a situation. Maybe you want to work on feeling more comfortable in a certain role that you have. Those are all things that you can work on that are not things on a list that say, okay, can I point to this and did I do it? I think that there are different kinds of goals, but I do know that if you're looking to make change, you do need something to point to that is going to show you, I made that change. So let me see if I can think of something like that. Okay, let's say your goal is, I want to be home more with my family for dinner. I work some evenings, and I find that I'm just not satisfied with how much time I'm spending at home. So if you were to make your goal, I want to be home more, that's not really a goal that you can look at and say, I did it. Because what's more? You know, is one time a week enough? Is 5 enough? So when you can quantify the goal, that's when you know you can sit and say, you can look at it and say, so if I say, not just that I want to be home more for dinner with my family, I want to be home 5 nights a week with my family having dinner. Then at the end of the week, you can look back on your calendar and say, was I home for 5 nights this past week? If I was, I achieved it. So quantifying your goals is something to think about.
How important is it that really all of us take the time to reevaluate our own life, our own situation, those things that are gnawing at us on a regular basis, not just on New Year's Day?
I think it's really important. I find that for myself, my life has built-in checkpoints. And it happens when I'm too something. I'm too tired, I'm too stressed, I'm too worried, I'm too concerned about how I'm going to move through whatever it is. And when I find myself being that way, I need to say to myself, okay, I need to step back and I need to think about what precipitated this concern. Why am I so anxious about this list or these things that I have to do? All of the things that are on this list I've done many times before. Why am I anxious about it now? Am I anxious because I didn't take the time for myself? I didn't work out like I should have, or swam when I should have, or I didn't make that phone call to my family member when instead I was busy doing paperwork, and maybe that's gnawing at the back of my mind. I've got to make time for that. So usually when we have these checkpoints, those are the times when we need to say, something's going on with me and I need to figure out what it is. And I need to figure out why I feel that way. And then what happens that's really wonderful is when you can bring yourself back to being in the present. And when we're in the present, we can accomplish any goal that we want to in small increments. When we're not really here, when we're thinking about the future and we're thinking about how ominous that goal is, then we're setting ourselves up for failure. Because, for instance, if you just think about a goal that you want, you mentioned, we just talked about losing weight. If we focus on, today, I am going to eat healthily. That is my plan today. So when I am eating my meals, I want to be thinking, I want to be intentional. I want to be thinking about what I'm doing right then, what I'm eating, and who I'm with, and how does it feel, and how does it feel to be eating healthily and in healthy amounts. How do I feel when I do that? If you focus on just that, then what doesn't get in the way is, I got to lose 50 pounds, and wow, that's way too much, and how am I going to do it? We're not thinking about the future. We're thinking about this right now. A segment that we're going to do in the future is called "You Don't Got to Worry About Anything Except Right Now," and that helps us when we're in the present. It helps us achieve the goal.
So I'm hearing that if you did one thing New Year's Day or thinking about 2022, start with just that: be present.
Be present. It will help you figure out what you're unhappy about and what you want to keep doing. Because there's plenty of things that we do in our lives that we're not going to change. And some of those are achievement things, and some of those are just the way we want to feel.
Right, and some we don't want to change, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We want to be happy when we're with our family and friends. What are we going to do to make sure that we are? And it starts with ourself. It always starts with you. It always starts with, how do we want to behave so that the others around us want to be with us?
We're ready. We're ready, Susan.
We're ready.
We're ready for the new year.
Yes, we're ready for the new year.
Special thanks to our favorite life coach, Susan Harf, for getting us all ready for the brand new year with all of her tips and strategies and advice. The first one is just to be present and think about it, right? If you'd like to reach out to Susan, her address is reallife@blueridgepbs.org. I know she would love to hear from you and get your feedback and some ideas for things you'd like her to share on this segment. For Susan and for me, have a very, very happy new year. Live your best life. Until next time, everybody.